Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all feeling super motivated and determined to make your businesses as profitable as possible. Today I have 3 really easy suggestions for you to do exactly that. We're going to be looking at each one of those suggestions and comparing them to see which one is the most effective. If you haven't been here before, my name is Lisa. I gained a French accountancy qualification about 20 years ago now, and although I have worked in accountancy, I now work in consultancy, and of course all of my contacts are in the description. For today's example, we're going to be looking at this business, which has a turnover of 100,000 euros. It has costs of 30,000 euros, so obviously it has profits of 70,000 euros. And its turnover is made up of 25 sales, all at 4,000 euros each. Now, I know that 99.9% of us do not invoice exactly the same amount of money every time that we invoice a client. So if you prefer to think of this not in terms of price per unit, but more in terms of hourly rate and calculate your hours worked, then we can do that as well. And what you will end up with is something like this. If you work 40 hours a week for 46 weeks a year, then you're working 1,840 hours a year. And if you have a turnover of 100,000 euros, then that makes your hourly rate 54 euros, which doesn't sound too bad. It probably does not take into account all of your preparation, quoting, invoicing, research, all of the 1,000,001 things that you have to do, but it doesn't sound too bad. So we can use this as well if you like. And the first thing that we're going to try and do to make our business more profitable, this is not rocket science, is we're going to try to reduce our costs. So I have a target of 3% because I think that's really reasonable. I think everybody can make a 3% saving. We all have subscriptions that we don't use or stock that we don't need. We can all negotiate a better deal with our insurers or our bankers or our accountants. And so 3% is very, very easy to get to. And if I take 3% of 30,000 euros, then I get to 900 euros. So if I make that saving, then I reduce my expenses by 900 euros and I increase my profit by 900 euros. So now I'm at 70,900. And that's very nice. It's better than a slap in the face with a wet fish. But I do think that we can do better. So the second thing that we're going to do to increase our profitability is sell more product. Sell more product if you're actually selling a physical product, or if what you're selling is your time, then work more hours. That's what it comes down to. So if we add the same 3% and we add 3% to our volume of sales, then we get to this figure here. And if we add 3% to our hours worked, then we have to take 3% of 1,840, and that is 55.2 hours, which may not sound like a lot, but it's actually 7 days work. And so now instead of 46 weeks a year that you're working 47 and a half nearly. Whichever way you prefer to calculate it, we're going to get to the same place and we'll end up with an increased turnover. We're going to end up with 103,000 euros. Now, if we haven't done any cost cutting at all, what that means is that we now have 3,000 euros extra in profit. So that is really good. It's better than we had before, but we did have to sacrifice a week and a half of our time to get there. So let's see what happens if we do number 3, which is increase our prices. Again, we're going to add 3%. So if we add 3% to our price per unit of 4,000 euros, then that's going to take us to 4,120 euros. And if we add 3% to our hourly rate, then we're not even adding another 2 euros. And if we do this, then we're going to end up in the same place that we did before. We're going to end up at 103,000 euros, but we didn't have to sacrifice a week and a half of our time to get there. So to my mind, it's pretty clear which one of these 3 strategies is the most effective, which does not mean that it has to be the only one that we use. Now, I know that some people are very nervous about putting prices up, but bear in mind that any and all combinations of these three strategies are good. If you were to cut your costs by 3%, increase your sales by 1%, and raise your prices by 2%, then that is good. If you do 2, 2, and 2, then that is good. If you were to do 3, 1, and 3, can you imagine how amazing that would be? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.